Oh, there are people here already. Oh my god. It's crazy. Nope, that's not better. Sorry, I don't know how to make things good. That'll do. That's fine. Can you guys see and hear me okay? I haven't used this laptop for streaming before. And is the chat working? Lots of things to check out. Bear with. Hey, Nick, how you doing? Yes, awesome. That's so cool. Hi, Jesse. Oh, I missed you guys. I was gonna read a short story, The Lady, Roald Dahl, but then I remembered this guy on Wattpad. Tired but well. Yeah. That's kind of what to aim for, I think. That's like the best you can feel. Oh, Jesse, thank you. It means a lot to know I'm not just kind of yelling this into space. Okay, so Wattpad is a website where people can put, they can self-publish stuff. And the guy whose work I'm going to be reading, it's not his work necessarily. He collects them from all over the internet and doesn't attribute them properly. So he is Imagine Man on Wattpad. And I'm really not here to make fun of him or anything. He just has a really interesting voice. And some of his stories have just cracked me up. Next one. So yeah, we're gonna do that instead. Okay. Our first story is called Don't Turn on the Light, and it's a classic. Caution, this is a true story and it can happen to you too, so read at your own risk. I hope everyone's just aware of that right now. Once there were two girls who shared a college dorm together. Their names were Meg and Vanita. The girls were out partying one night. Meg noticed she forgot her purse and went back quickly to the dorm. Without turning on the lights, she walked in and grabbed the purse. Then she returned to the party. Later on in the night, Vanita got tired. She left the dorm to go to sleep. So far, so good. The next morning, Meg went back to the dorm. The police officers were outside. "Officer, what's the problem?" she asked. "There has been a murder." "Oh my God, please let me see." "No, it's a bit too sloppy," said the officer. See, these turns of phrase that are just so good. "Please." Finally, the officer led Vanita upstairs. I think he means Meg, but whatever. When she walked in the room, she saw her roommate covered with a clean white sheet. On the mirror, in big red letters, words said, "Aren't you glad you didn't turn on the light?" Now, this is an interesting twist on the original because if you look at the timeline, Vanita went back to the dorm to sleep after Meg went and got her handbag from the dorm. Very, very interesting. It's extremely clever, like all time travel stories. I probably just don't really get it. Oh, the comments are there as well. All right, not that one. When they're too long, it's just like, okay. It's a very long one about set in the Civil War, the American Civil War. Yeah, too long, didn't read. He's done a book of like two sentence short stories. I should have done that. Damn it. Might be able to do that one. Okay, that's just a weird one. It's about a little boy whose mother was burned at the stake, but her leg fell off while it was burning. Doesn't matter. It's funny. Okay, so here's a book of very short stories by Imagine Man. This is called She Follows. Oh, flash fiction is totally my thing. It's like most of my Twitter. The lady with the mangled, bleeding face chased you in the staircase up to the building's roof. You jump off, turn your head to the right, and see her falling next to you. I'm not quite sure what's scary about it. At the end. I love these. I really do. Wow, this is a really long one. It's basically the Telltale Heart, I think. It's about two sisters whose skin gets hung up in their wardrobe. Hey, how's it going? I'm reading micro flash fiction gathered from the internet by yes, I am, although as you can tell my lighting is it's all fucked up. I did that. So this is micro like flash fiction by Imagine Man or collected from the internet by Imagine Man. Some of them are just really boring and have no point at all. But when you get an amazing turn of phrase, it just. Okay, here we go. A walk through the graveyard. This has got everything. Scary, it's romantic, it's written down. It's got everything a story needs. A walk through the graveyard. A girl and a boy were walking home one night. The happy couple had been out on a date. They decided to take a shortcut through an old graveyard. It was midnight, and a strange fog curled around the headstones. The girl clutched her boyfriend's hand tightly, and they quickened their pace. It looks like a Michael Jackson video, said the girl nervously. Something we reference a lot. Yeah, the boy chuckled. Ha 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 ha. Maybe the dead will rise from their graves and start dancing for us. Just then, in the distance, she heard a howl and a wail and a moan. She stopped in her tracks and peered into the darkness. Don't be scared, the boy laughed. Ha 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 ha. It's probably just an animal or the wind. The girl swallowed hard. She had a bad feeling that something terrible was about to happen. She looked at her boyfriend and noticed a strange expression on his face. Why do you walk like that? He asked abruptly. This boy kind of reminds me of my mother. Like what? The girl asked, surprised. Like you're bow-legged, the boy said. It's weird. The girl bit her lip. She didn't say anything. She loved the boy, and she thought he loved her. They were planning on getting married next month, and she didn't want to get into a stupid fight. And you have spots on your face, the boy said. It's disgusting. The girl bit her lip. And you stink, the boy continued. There's always a stench of stale sweat coming from you. It makes me want to puke. We've all been in this relationship. The girl let go of the boy's hand. Why are you being so mean? She asked. I thought you loved me. How could anyone love you? The boy growled. You with your weird legs and your spotty face and your wretched stench, looking like a pig. If I were a girl, I'd be and look like you, I would be too embarrassed to live. I'd kill myself. You're a pig. Oink oink piggy. This is basically heterosexual couples. That's pretty much what we do. The girl burst into tears and wailed, If you hate me so much, then why are we getting married? Suddenly, the boy clutched his head and fell to his knees. His face was twisted in pain. Yeah, the list of complaints is part of every hetero wedding service. You just let everybody know what you love about your partner and what you can't fucking stand. But he won't get rid of that shirt, will he? No. No one should make anyone get rid of a t-shirt unless it's like Rick on the Iron Throne and there's a bunch of dragons with the face of Morty around him. Then you should get rid of it. It hurts, he cried. My head is ripping apart. My skin is burning up. I can't stand it. What's wrong? Asked the girl, trying to comfort him. Okay, what's wrong? He just told you what's wrong. Communication, you guys. His head is ripping apart and his skin is burning up. That's what's wrong. As she watched in horror, the boy scratched and clawed at his face and the skin peeled away, revealing the slimy red flesh beneath. She gasped and backed away. The boy started tearing the skin off his face with his bare hands. Cackling like a maniac, he gouged out his own eyes and ripped off his nose and chewed off his own lips. His teeth clacked and grinned at her. The reason I'm marrying you is I want to eat your pig meat, he screeched. The girl screamed and ran away, but the boy came chasing after her, his face just a lump of exposed flesh. She desperately tried to escape from the shambling monstrosity behind her. Just as she reached the gates of the graveyard, a slimy hand grabbed her by the collar and threw her to the ground. He pounced on top of her, and she screamed and screamed and screamed. ... The girl awoke in a cold sweat. She was at home in her own bed. Her husband's arms were wrapped around her. She breathed a sigh of relief. It had all been a horrible nightmare. She nudged her husband. Are you awake? She whispered. Yeah, he mumbled. Why did you marry me? She asked. There was no reply. Tension. She asked again, Why did you marry me? There was a long silence, and then her husband mumbled, Because I want to eat your pig meat. ... The end. I mean, some people call it weird. I think if you're both into it, that's fine. It's not my personal thing, tearing off someone's face, but that was a full story. That one's a bit dark. To eat your pig meat. I regret letting you write your own vows. I regret that we did not check each other's vows. Okay, this story is called Headless Luke! ! I just saw my next door neighbor Luke. He looked so good without his head. The end. Shells. I love how it's Headless Luke with an exclamation mark. Yeah, it was all completely nothing. It was great. Next. This one is just called Spiders, and I'm not going to read it out loud because I think Tally watches these sometimes. But it's just about, imagine you're in a tent and it's covered in spiders. The end. I wouldn't like it. I'm going to be honest. I wouldn't like it at all. Childhood best friend. I awoke at 2:59 a.m. to see my childhood best friend standing outside my window. I live on the 3rd floor of my house, and my friend has been dead 20 years. The end of the story. What an odd thing that happened. Sorry, it's going a little bit slow because the internet's having to do this and go on my phone. Paranoid. Sometimes when people come home, they feel a little paranoid and check every room just to make sure that they're the only ones in the house. I've seen you do this. Lucky for me, you never check behind curtains. Bennett Kerf will try and stop me. I'll have to try and remember that. At me it on Twitter because that's the easiest way for me to see things. Anyone who could hide behind my curtains would be tiny. They would be so small. They would be Ben Shapiro minis. I think I'd probably be all right. I don't like to make fun of people who are short because they're short. That's ridiculous. Oh no! Oh, did it have glowing eyes? You coming in? Nivy. Come on, sweetie. There you go. Thank you. That was a good ending. This is called Reflection. A man was shaving in front of a mirror. When he bent over to rinse his face in the sink, his reflection didn't move. The end. I think it may have been a painting. Hi, Nibby. Flora brought me a bird today. This one's called The Face. Working the night shift alone tonight, there is a face in the cellar staring at the security camera. The end. Well, she won't come up on command. I tried to trick her into it, but she's cleverer than the others, which not difficult. This one's called The 13th Floor. The elevator stopped on the 13th floor. The building was only 12 stories. The end. I like how they leave it just... I know. She is a bad cat, aren't you? No, I'm sorry. I take that back. She's not bad. Okay, this one's called I'm Looking at You. Downstairs in the basement of my new house in Mississauga, Ontario, I was on the computer playing some games when suddenly I heard some footsteps and a door opening. I went upstairs to see who it was, but no one was there. I went back downstairs, shut the games website, and closed the computer. Suddenly, the computer opened. I thought that was weird. ... I closed the computer again, but this time I got a message on the computer saying, I'm looking at you. I was very freaked out. I didn't shut down the computer this time. I just ran upstairs. When I got upstairs, I thought it might have been someone playing a joke, but I was very, very wrong. I ran upstairs to my room where my sister was, and I told her what happened. She obviously didn't believe me. The end. Puss in the Gang on Twitter. No, I haven't. It sounds like something I'd like. Yeah. You gotta let the viewer decide their own ending and middle and beginning. This one is just like some spooky stuff happened on my computer. I told my sister and she didn't believe me. The end. 11. This one's called In the Back Seat. I looked in my rearview mirror and saw my best friend sitting in the back seat. She passed away 7 years ago in a car crash! Exclamation mark. A writer. Oh. I will have to. Beck 11. Let me just have a look here. Oh, okay, that's going to take a really long time to load. Yeah. Next story, come on. They're watching. I googled myself for the first time and stumbled across a blog journal about me, detailing my daily life. I don't blog! Exclamation mark. Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy to imagine the story around all of that. Pointless letters. Huh. I will have to follow some good people. This one just doesn't make any sense. It's called Scary Dreams. Being blind since birth made the taunting face in my dream all that much more disturbing. Whoever it is knows I can't open my eyes, and they love it. I don't blog. I don't blog. What if it was a vlog? Does this guy think that being blind since birth means that your eyelids just never opened? This one's good. Hey, no, that's all right. I did a surprise. It was a surprise to everybody, including me. And the lighting is incredible. It's so good. Set that up myself. You came just in time for a really good story, John and Danny. Killer mother. My sister says that Mummy killed her. Mummy says that I don't have a sister. The end. Chills. Oh, no, it's going. This one's called Frozen Death. Yeah, you're all bastards here. We're all basically bastards. But we're not basic bastards, so. It's called Frozen Death. When I finally grabbed her in the darkness, I swam back to the surface. It never occurred to me how fast the icy water could freeze over before I could make it to the top! Exclamation mark. You absorbed your twin? Is that true? How? If I found out that about myself, I wouldn't like it. You know? That's so good. There's so much mystery. I thought I turned the cat fountain off. This one is about centipedes. You see one, and then you realize they're all in your bedroom, which I admit I would not like. See, that's crazy. That's really cool. You have all the powers of two people. Okay, the unknown caller. Imagine you're in your house alone on the computer and you sneeze. Then your cell phone rings. You pick it up and a voice whispers, "Bless you." The end. When I first found Imagine Man, I was just. You should send that to Chuck Tingle. He could really. Oh, does your absorbed twin have a name? I'm getting too into this. Oh, here's this one. The Abandoned. "You stupid bastard," I cried as he tied me to the rails. "Don't you know this line has been abandoned for years?" "Of course I know," he said, walking away. "No one comes here at all." Tim's a good name for an absorbed twin. Twim. Hey, that means my view count should be up like by another one, right? Is it bad that I'm making light of this? I don't know. So this person has been kidnapped by somebody who not only ties people to railway tracks in this day and age, but has done it on an abandoned line. Incredible. It's just part of the genius of Abandoned Man. Oh, that's the one about the hotel room and the red eyes. That's boring. Okay, this is a short story called The Glitch. I think it's capable of it because I'm not also receiving any video or audio. Like, I think if it's one-sided, it'll work. But who knows? Okay, imagine watching a sitcom on Netflix. That's how the story begins. And the video starts to glitch every few minutes and pause for 15 to 30 seconds at a time. But the audio would continue. When the video caught up, it would just skip ahead to sync with the audio. I can imagine that. That happens a lot. It happened to me once, and I was kind of doing other things at the time, so I didn't try to fix it. But I really bugged myself out when I thought how horrifying it would be if during a paused moment, something else was supposed to be happening on screen. I thought the juxtaposition of how scary that would be during a comedy show made it even something. And I thought, damn, it would be freaky if that happened. It's like if The Shining was like, I was in this hotel and I just imagine, what if I was in this hotel but it was full of ghosts and Jack Nicholson? Makes you think. Did it? Oh, that's awesome. Did I look at any of you? I don't think I did. Okay, this one's really good. It's called The Murders. My neighbor's kids have kept me up the past 2 weeks with their screaming. I finally called the super to complain. "Hello, sweetheart," he said. "Hello. Do you want to look at the people? Want to look at the people, Nibel?" She has started just sitting there, listening. And if something's outside or if it sounds close, she growls in her throat like a dog. It's so awesome. It's weird. Aren't you? Want to go outside? You want to go outside? Yeah. There you go. Oh, that's okay. Sorry. I was reading. What was I reading?
Sorry, I'm a bit short of breath today. I've been sleeping too much, which means I've been snoring too much, so I have a sore throat, slight shortness of breath, and acute hypochondria. Go back to the story I was reading. They're pretty good. They're all mad, but yeah. Shitty cats are the best. Good cats are also the best. Yeah. See, the cats, like, the kids, if they were screaming like playing for 2 weeks, yeah, I get that. But if they were screaming like they were being murdered for 2 weeks, I think you'd kind of want to look into it before a whole fortnight is gone. Right. My neighbor's kids have kept me up the past 2 weeks with their screaming. I finally called the super to complain. He told me no one has lived next to my apartment for years. Not since the murders! Exclamation mark. The end. It really gets the point across. The murders? This is the callers coming from inside the house with a twist that doesn't make sense. Okay, here we go. I have read these before, but it was years ago. The Haunted Teddy Bear. Once there was a married couple, Wilbur and Sarah, who was staying in a house with Wilbur's elder sister, Katie. This is all really important. Wilbur would go to the office every day, and Katie was a fashion designer, so she went too. However, Sarah would sleep for a very long time, and whenever she used to wake up at 1 o'clock, she used to see delicious food in the kitchen. She used to think that Katie made it for her. Misogynistic. So she would eat the food and then sleep again, and she had a very cuddly teddy bear, so she named him Cuddles. It's all one sentence. It's good. One day she woke up early. She woke up at around 12 instead of 1, so she goes into the kitchen expecting the food. Until then, she saw that the teddy bear was cooking, and next morning she was found dead with her hands and limbs separated. The end. The dentist ghost wasn't bad. He was just like, when are they going to say that he's a ghost? Yep. The teddy bear was cooking. And she was found dead with her hands and limbs separated. It's the best way to phrase that. Murder Teddy. I know. Why would the teddy make her food every day and then kill her? Okay, this one's called The Mad Scientist. It's a great shock reveal. Yeah, the teddy's just going about its own business, and one day it's like, well, it's murder time, I guess. He was a cuddly bear, so she named him Cuddles. I think that was really important. There once lived a little girl named Alice. One night, Alice was tired, and her mother told her to go to bed. So far, this makes sense. She did as she was told and quietly hobbled off to her room. Element of mystery. We wonder why she's hobbling. We know we won't be told. Alice, now half asleep, heard a disturbing, loud dripping noise. Drip, drip, drip. She put her hand down beside her bed, for her little dog Molly always licked her hand when she was scared. She felt Molly's cold lick and tried to sleep. No one must know I can cook for my own. Exactly. Time passed, and the dripping continued, even louder now. Alice got up and went to the bathroom and turned off the tap, making sure it was tight enough. She went back to bed. Alice, nearly asleep now, heard the dripping noise for the third time. She put her hand down beside her bed and Molly licked it. Once again, she went to the kitchen to turn the tap off. She went to the bathroom the last time. Unreliable narrator. This is like Chuck Palahniuk, the Fight Club Chuck. She went to the kitchen to turn the tap off. Alice screamed as she saw Molly dead on the table, back down with blood dripping from her mouth. Her belly was shaved with a cut on it that read, "Humans can lick too, my darling." Alice looked up to see a mad scientist. That's just one of my favorite stories of all time. It's the inconsistency and all of the irrelevant details and the fact that for some reason he saved the dog. He shaved the dog to write the message in instead of writing it in blood, like in the classic story. And after the humans can lick too reveal, they thought it was best to add another sentence being like, "Oh, it was a mad scientist." That's who said that, if you were wondering. Yeah, it was a mad scientist. This story about the drip, 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 not this one, obviously, the sane one from Planet Earth, was one of the first horror stories I heard as a child at camp. I was like 10 years old, and I was in the tent with the older girls who were nearly 11. They were so cool. They were amazingly cool. They used impulse body spray. And they were all telling scary stories, and the drip, 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 there was one that just stuck with me. There was one about a doll that came to life in the night, but I don't remember it. I think it ended up, clawing someone's eyes out or something. It was... Yeah, his science is completely rational, but he loves to lick people's hands. And I'm not going to call him mad for that, because I don't want to shame anybody. That's just peculiar. Baby shoes never worn. Baby died. The original drip, drip, drip story is basically the one I read, but without, it's usually a blind lady and her seeing eye dog, and she thinks the water in the bathroom is dripping, but it turns out that it's her dog that the killer has hung from the shower head thing, and it's its blood dripping, and then maybe she gets her sight back. I'm not sure. No, at the end of the story, somebody licks her hand. And then there's a variant where it's not about a blind lady, but it is about someone who won't turn the lights on. And then at the end, they turn the lights on, and they're lying in bed, and their hand is, over the side of the bed, being licked, as they think, by the dog. But then the lights come back on, and on the wall it says, "Humans can lick too." And they're like, "Oh no, my hand is being licked by a person I don't know." True love and human remains. No, I haven't. That's incredible logic. I was pretty freaked out by that as a child. Pretended I wasn't, because, Dennis Arkand. Okay. That sounds like a, what do you call it? A Voldemort thing. Not an acronym. Anagram. I'm not tired. Okay. There's a mad scientist on the roof. Yeah. It's great. This one's called Blossom. In a very dense forest, there was a small town called Nice Town. This, however, was a cover-up for what really happened there. The villagers tortured and killed any people unfortunate enough to come to the village. How does their economy work? But there was one little girl called Blossom. She disapproved of the villagers' actions, so she killed them all by biting their throats out. If you walk to the remains of the village, you'll hear Blossom singing a song. It goes, "I'm the nicest little girl, oh yes I am, and if you try to torture or kill me, you really, really can't. And if you answer, I can, she will eat your throat. But if you answer, sorry, I'm lost, she will appear in front of you and guide you out of the forest. And if you answer, Blossom, you did the right thing, she will appear in front of you and beg you to take her away from the village, but she will turn to ashes when she exits the forest." Oh, cool. I'll have to look that up, Nick. But yeah, it doesn't say that Blossom is a supernatural or paranormal child. She's just a kid who'd had enough. All the throat biting, yeah. I didn't ever watch the Powerpuff Girls, but there must have been heaps of throat biting. I mean, they don't have fingers, right? They just had like tortoise clubs. Did they? One more. No, paranormal, just fucking feral. It never says she died either, so why did she turn to ash? The Vanishing Hitchhiker, one we all know and love. Except nowadays, it's called the Vanishing Uber Passenger. I know, I could just absolutely kill it if I pivoted to the alt-right. I'd be amazingly funny to these people. Canon, they have no fingers. Oh my god. Good lord. I don't like that. One last one. I have to wash my hair. It's a fucking disgrace. Come on. Go. Go. Oh, she's a vampire. Oh, right, yeah. In the forest, the tree cover, maybe there's no sunlight coming through. No. Last one should be something, you know. Fucking name. Oh my god. Was he also a mad scientist? I think everything should end with, you know, Edward and Bella in the romantic, horrible forest. And he's like, you know what I am? And she's like, yes, you're a mad scientist. Oh, Nick, Josh is so funny. You should be following him. That's going to get me some filthy looks tomorrow, I think. You should be following Josh for his live stream of the original book, Who Framed Roger Rabbit. It's so good, and we haven't sent you any props. We're going to. We really are going to. Okay, here's a wonderful one to take us home. It's called Hatchet Man. Yeah, he's just so funny. I fucking lose it all the time. There were warnings all over campus about a hatchet man who was supposedly abused and killed a woman in Bloomington. All the girls were warned to walk in pairs and to stay in brightly lit areas if they had to go out at night. There's been a rash of suicides on campus lately. As chief security officer, I'm usually first on the scene after the body is discovered. I hope the deaths slow down. I don't know how much more I can eat. I love this story. Oh god, it's so good. The Hatchet Man paragraph has nothing to do with the second one. And the security officer is eating every dead body he finds on campus. He doesn't have to do that. He could just only eat one or two. Is he trying to keep the numbers down? I don't know, but I love it. Thank you, Hatchet Man. Thank you, Imagine Man, for your book of very short, very peculiar stories. I'll put a link in the Twitter for this. Copy link. There we go. I know. Yeah, no one has to. No one has to eat the bodies. Yeah, I'm going to link it. It's called A Book of Very Short Stories by Imagine Man. And it's incredibly beautiful. Stirring stuff. I'll put it in the description of this video. I'll try to. Thank you guys so much. It was really nice to hang out with you. And I will try and do something else next time. Maybe not Valette. I don't have the brain power, but maybe a short story. I don't know. The Hatchet Man is like this whole other thing. Is the guard eating the bodies from the Hatchet Man? Were the suicides staged? Is the Hatchet Man even real? Or are people just killing themselves with axes and then the security guard is eating them? You don't know. Quite scary. Okay. That's my voice for today anyway. So thank you guys. Thank you very much. I do not have the lurgy. I've tested my temperature like 5 times today. It's fine. Axiom's End. Oh. Awesome. Okay. I should hang up now or I won't hang up at all. Thank you guys for being here and I'll see you next time. Please remember to subscribe to Josh on YouTube and on Twitter, but you know, YouTube is where the live streams go. And I will I don't want to end the stream while there's a discussion going on. Thank you. Nothing was planned. Everything is permitted. Good night, everyone. Sleep well. Be good to each other. Wash your hands.